I think technology in 10 years' time as an artist will hopefully be more organic. It will be more, user-friendly interfaces, things like that.
I think Ableton Live is kind of going in that direction.
Well, yeah, it's people are starting to realize the importance of live and being able to do things rather than having to program it all in, separately. I think, yeah, it'll be allow more freedom for performance, things like that. Yeah.
I predict that in 10 years' time, electronic music makers will probably be rehashing what we're listening to today, if today's music is anything to go by. I think there'll be a lot more sampling and a lot more interesting ways that people mash up their samples and destroy them and rearrange them. There's a current trend back towards the whole retro thing, analog gear, physical modelling of analog synths, that sort of thing. I think that will continue to a point. Who knows, one day we might be buying a physical modelled synthesizer based on the DX7 or something crazy like that. But I think things will just become more portable, they'll become smaller, probably more throwaway, if anything else.
I predict that the way things are moving, particularly in terms of new electronic equipment, electronic music equipment, electronic synthesizers, interactive software for producing electronic music live, all that is going to pretty much move where it's going, because I mean one thing, people who make music, electronic music anymore, don't see any more money from record sales. Because it's all disseminated through the internet, and really, if you get any kind of record sales, it's pretty minimal. So really, the way you make your money these days is through touring and playing live. So you've got to make your show more interesting. So a lot of the technology, I mean, you see it. You go into a music shop, there's a million controllers out there now. But I think some of the cool things, like some of the video clips I've seen for the new Björk show and stuff, where she's got the moving, it's kind of like a amorphous modular synth where you can just add, different blocks of synthesis and effects and stuff like that. I think those sorts of things are going to become, much more predominant.
He's hoping that maybe there'll be more freeform-based electronic music. Maybe a lot more real live electronic music again, rather than laptops. We've all seen a lot of artists upstage with laptops, and I think we've all been guilty of doing that ourselves. Doing visuals certainly helps, but I think getting instruments on stage again and using them with a collaboration of people, actually more like a jazz sort of quartet, quintet, whatever, feeding upon that. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe some people just think, oh, it's very self-indulgent. Maybe it is, but I think music in general is self-indulgent for any artist putting it together.
I think it has entered so much into mainstream at the moment that it's kind of hard to say what attracts people to it, because it's accepted now, like maybe 30 years ago you could easily pinpoint who would be attracted to electronic music and why, but now it's unless you're heavily against it, everyone listens to it.
And in terms of the really creative stuff, I actually think that there's quite a scene that a lot of the people who are attracted to electronic music end up creating it themselves in some sort of way. Which I think is really cool, because I think I like the fact that the world's going to a mode where it's kind of a self-expression, and many people are able to tell their stories.
Electronic music to me it's an escape at the end of the day, and it's something that I'm driven to do. And I've gone through periods of time where I haven't made electronic music, and I've been driven back to doing it, not through a conscious effort of my own. It's just something that I have to do. It's like heading north with the winter or whatever. I'm instinctually driven to do it, and if I don't make electronic music, I tend to go a little bit stir crazy or something. But to me, it's the thing that I enjoy most about the electronic music these days is actually the process of the programming and dabbling with the equipment. It's a bit like being a mad professor and trying to make this piece of gear talk to that piece of gear, and the programming aspect of it. of it is I find really interesting. Probably just as much as the sort of cathartic process of getting the song out at the end. So to me, it's just something that I have to do.
Okay, electronic to me probably means listening. It's a way to engage with sound that's different to other forms of music. So I love the idea that you can put on an electronic record, and by that I'm very open with what I perceive electronic music to be, and actually engage with sound at a variety of levels and be stimulated in a way that potentially other forms of music may not provide. I
can close my eyes and go somewhere, you know, and leave, you know, my 9-to-5 job behind, and you know, and it helps you meet like-minded people, and at the end of the day, you know, I suppose, you know, when you get into submerge yourself something into so much, it's kind of like, you know, whether you're a model collecting freak or anything like that, and you get massive amount of pleasure out of it, and you know, the hunt continues.
I don't know, I think electronic music is, to me, just like total liberation. It just makes me, you know, feel fucking human. I don't have to deal with any dickheads or anything, and I guess, you know, when you're making music, it's your own rave inside your head. You know what I mean? And honestly, when you pull out of some awesome sound or something, it just really transports you onto that space in between a big speaker stack, and you know, it takes you away, and that for me is, you know, all of it. You know, it's really about just feeling that ultimate feeling of not caring about anything and being in no time, no place, no space, you know, just experiencing awesome sounds.
What does electronic music mean to me? I think it kind of means everything to me in a lot of ways. It means freedom of expression. It means no boundaries, although in saying that, I guess what I've been writing over the years has been very conformed to specific styles, but I haven't actually done or ventured out what I really wanted to do. And I still haven't actually done that yet. I think mainly because of fear of, I don't know, of being misunderstood about what it is that I'm trying to actually portray out there. But I think now it's certainly a lot more accepting in terms of general populace as to free-formed based electronic styles of random noises, of ambiences, and there's certainly a broader acceptance in the audience of just sitting down and actually listening to that, rather than trying to create industrial or dance or electronica or any of these other sort of genres. I think there isn't really a style yet of pure electronic based music. I don't think there ever will be, because there's so much crossover, and I think subconsciously it's a really hard thing to overcome. There's always things in the back of your mind that will trigger you to write other little bits of genre into what you're trying to do. It's, yeah, tricky.
Electronic music is very important to me because of, you know, the bands that I've listened to over time have been largely electronic based: Cabaret, Voltaire, New Order, and the labels that I've been exposed to. So, you know, that's given a lot of enjoyment. You know, taking that, so as a consumer of electronic music, then becoming a maker of electronic music was and remains a very enjoyable process. So taking what has influenced me into creating something yourself, but then taking that and being a facilitator of electronic music, helping others to produce and to release. So I guess that spectrum from being a consumer through to a facilitator around electronic music as an innovative and limitless palette of possibilities is very satisfying.
As history has shown, electronic musicians will always be influenced by new technologies. One thing that will remain the same is their desire to find new sounds.